Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. I got to thinking about fear fighting. You know, I talk a lot about fear fighting because it's important to me. I think we all face fears. I think many are healthy fears, and I think if a bear is running through the woods and charging at you, that's a healthy fear to get out of the way. But most people face unhealthy fears, fears that are irrational, fears that really have little merit, if any. And often they stop their best life because they have all these fears inside of them. The what ifs. What if my neighbor talks about me if I decide to move to a bigger house? What would happen if I decide to quit my job and move to another job? Will people look down on me? To me, those are more based in irrational fears because, well, what if people do talk about you? So what? You know, it's really going to have very little impact, if any, on your life. But the fears that really hold us back, as I always talk about, are the fears that have some merit to it. And although small in most cases, it's a possibility. And those fears hold us back from our dreams, our visions, our goals, our solutions to our lives. And so often, when there's a reward on the other end of a fear, sometimes we avoid that reward because we don't want to face that small fear, no matter how big, how small it may be. And those are usually the fears that stop us. Real fears, real things that can happen, often we have no control over, and we have to go through anyhow, and we have to face that fear. So real fears often don't stop a person. They protect a person, and they guide them through, and they try to make the best choices they can. But it's in those small fears, those fears that stop us from our best lives. So we've got to identify those possible things that can happen, make the best plans so that we can get through it successfully and on the other side of that fear. I always say, once you've faced your fear, if it's a fear with a reward, a fear that's rational, a fear that has in the right way, that we approach it in the right way, I say often we feel a sense of victory after we have faced that fear of accomplishment, regardless of how things turned out. We face that fear. So remember, there are all kinds of fears in life. Some are totally irrational, some are real, and then there are fears that really have little chance of happening. But if they do, we need to be prepared for that if we're going to attempt to go through that fear. And yet, those are the fears that usually hold us back. So we've got to remember that it's important to be a fear fighter, but we have to do it in the right way. From my house to yours, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.